Donald Trump has landed on a new talking point / conspiracy theory involving Vice President Kamala Harris. And he first tested it out this past weekend at a rally in Wisconsin, the same rally, by the way, where he claimed that she was born mentally disabled. But then he pointed to an ICE report that said that thousands of people have come into this country, even though in their countries they had been convicted of homicides or sexual offenses, and they still managed to come in this country. However, ICE also had them in custody. So that's an important thing to keep in mind because Donald Trump conveniently left out that part of the report. So yes, we found these people that were coming in here with these horrible pasts, and we got them. Right? That's what ICE is supposed to do. They're basically saying, hey, we did our jobs. But Donald Trump took it to mean that, oh no, Kamala Harris has opened the border to let all those people from the prisons and the mental institutions come in. Here's what he said in Wisconsin this past weekend. Kamala, is mentally impaired. If a Republican did what she did, that Republican would be impeached and removed from office, and rightfully so, for high crimes and misdemeanors. That would be high crimes and misdemeanor. All right. I'm going to stop because I'm getting a headache trying to read what this dumbass is saying here, because the repetition, as mental health experts have pointed out, is a red flag. And in those 4 sentences I just read you, 2 of them were repeating what the sentence before it was. That's a red flag. People with dementia, people with Alzheimer's will do that because it's an anchor phrase almost. They lose track of what they were saying, so that anchor, they go back to it, right? They can't get too far from the anchor. And that's what he's doing here. So he starts it off by saying she is mentally impaired, then literally exhibits symptoms of cognitive neurological problems. Again, media, do your god-darn jobs and start pointing those things out. But he continues. That would be high crimes and misdemeanors. Think of it, 13,099 murderers convicted of murder. Okay, with the repetition, it's going to drive me crazy. I'm going to struggle. I'm trying to get through this shit. Convicted of murder, not like convicted of murder, some of the worst murderers you've ever seen. I am so sorry, folks, but oh my God. That we are not every second of every day talking about this man's failing mental health drives me insane. Like, I'm going to go crazy because nobody is giving Donald Trump going crazy the coverage that it deserves. And I don't even know if we're following along with the same damn story anymore because I've had to stop so many times. So let me continue. They're all in our country now, every one of them. And I've been saying this for 3 years and the fake news has been saying, well, you don't know that. Well, now we know it. They've never released a list like this, not just on this. They've never done it over the years. They've never done it. Okay. So we're done with that repetition. But the big takeaway that you need from that is he wants Kamala Harris impeached, okay? That's what he was trying to say in those 2 paragraphs that I read you. And I actually cut off another one because I can't take it anymore. He wants her impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors. Whew. Okay? That's what he said over the weekend in Wisconsin. Then, very next day, he gets on Truth Social and puts this out. What Comrade Kamala Harris has done to our country at the border by allowing 13,099 murderers to roam openly and be free to kill is the crime of the century. They have already killed many people, and this is just the beginning. She should be impeached, prosecuted, or both. But the incredible thing is that the fake news media does everything possible not to pick this story up. 13,099 murderers are on the loose in our country because of Kamala Harris, and they just don't want to report it. The fake news is helping Kamala to destroy our country. They're totally corrupt. You can't find worse or less patriotic people. We need honest media to guard our country. We do need honest media. And if we had honest media, they would be talking about every single thing that you say as a symptom of severe mental illness and cognitive decline. That's what an honest media would do. So be careful what you wish for, bud, because it's not going to go the way that you think it is. Also, let's talk about high crimes and misdemeanors, right? Because again, you're calling for her impeachment or prosecution or both. Well, before we talk about high crimes and misdemeanors, let's talk about your redundancy right there, okay? If you impeach somebody, you go through the House of Representatives first, right? They do the articles of impeachment. If those are approved, they send them over to the Senate to what? For what? For a trial. And if the Senate convicts you, that's a prosecution. So you don't need to say impeached or prosecuted or both, because the full process of impeachment actually calls for both of those things. Oh, you learn something new every day, don't you, bud? You would think somebody that's gone through 2 impeachments would know that, but just happy to help you out and educate you in any way I can. Now, high crimes and misdemeanors, right? Kamala Harris, contrary to what Republicans are telling us, is actually not in charge of immigration policy here in the United States. And there might be some right-wingers still watching this saying, but Farron, she's the border czar. What can do with the border czar? Okay, first of all, no, that's a title y'all bestowed upon her. Second of all, she was never put in charge of immigration. She was put in charge of a task force to find out why immigration is surging. She was never put in charge of close down the borders, keep these people out of here. They said, hey, run a study group and let's find out why this is happening. They didn't tell her come up with solutions. They didn't tell her you go around, start handcuffing people and getting them out of the country. They said, can you just look at why this is happening? Okay, that's not a border czar. That's basically, giving a job to an undergrad assistant. So even if she was a border czar, let's also remember she's not in charge of ICE. She's not the one who makes the policy in this country. That's actually the president. Kamala Harris can't sign an executive order. Kamala Harris can't sign a piece of legislation. So even if these things were crimes, it wouldn't be her that you would get. It would be Biden. And by doing that, then you'd probably end up making her president right now. And oh boy, then you've got a whole nother set of problems on your hands. But these things aren't crimes anyway. Even if those 13,099 people that Trump says are wandering this country, even if they were wandering this country, that's not illegal, by the way. Because if we know that they were convicted of crimes and we still choose to let them in, we're allowing it. That's not illegal. It's not illegal. It's not illegal to do that. So I don't know what he thinks he's going to impeach, prosecute, or possibly do both again. What he's talking about here, because none of it makes any sense. He's just a man who is furious over the fact that he has 34 felony convictions against him right now, probably more in the future. He is a man that is still bitter about the fact that he was impeached twice and Republicans couldn't get President Biden. So he wants revenge. He wants retaliation. He's not getting it. So of course, he's going out and doing his rallies and he's getting on Truth Social and showing us just how insane he truly is. Hi everyone. This here is little Athena, and Athena would like to know why you haven't subscribed to Fair and Balanced yet. So please, don't let Athena down. Subscribe today.